This is Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Oh, Rush.
Featuring the interactive interview.
Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Oh, yeah.
Formerly The Blaze.
The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze rock.
You a maniac, so what you gonna do when the Blaze of Maniac runs wild on you?
On WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling
Epicenter. Wrestling
Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter. The Wrestling Epicenter. Don't get off.
Welcome back to Interactive Wrestling Radio. Joining me on the Newsmaker line right now is a fellow Arizona boy and the face of Major League Wrestling, the brand new MLW Champion. Of course, I'm speaking of Alexander Hammerstone. Are you with me, sir?
I'm here. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show, man. So when you hear this introduction and you hear yourself introduced finally, at long last, that the long road is behind you as the MLW Champion, what does it mean to you?
It's a bit surreal. Like, I was doing an interview just before this, and I got introduced as it, and it's just like, man, that's like you wait so long to hear something, and it's almost a little weird to finally hear it. So it definitely feels good. It's like I said, something I've been waiting for a very, very long time, and now it's here. I guess gotta take some time to get used to it.
Exactly. And that Jacob Fatu match was something that a lot of us MLW faithful were looking forward to. We knew that you guys were on a course, and at some point it was going to happen. And of course, it happened at Fightland. Looking back, are you happy with how the match turned out and how it aired on Viceland?
Yeah, I mean, it was, definitely one of the biggest tests I've ever had in wrestling. I can say I wish I would have got through the match without an injury, but then again, so much is to be expected when you're wrestling someone like Jacob Fatu. But yeah, as far as everything with the match, I was very happy with. I'm very happy with, seeing the road that it took to get here and having it finally pay off in such a grand fashion was awesome.
Absolutely, and he did it in one of the most famous arenas for wrestling there is. It's the 2300 arena, but it'll always be the ECW arena to me. Does that make it even that little bit more special, the location, the scenery, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's such a famous venue for professional wrestling. It's definitely got a vibe of its own, and it definitely adds to the atmosphere. Cool.
And you mentioned it, the leg injury that happened during that match. How you feeling now? Because it looked pretty severe at the time, and a lot of people were like, "Uh-oh, he might get injured just as soon as he won the title, like every other NXT champion ever did." But what is the exactly? So how is the leg doing now?
I mean, I lucked out. Nothing broke. It was my ankle. It was a very bad sprain. I had some tearing in some of the ligaments and tendons. But luckily, I'm on the up and up. I've been back to wrestling since then. It put me down for a little while, but I'm being smart. Ankle injuries have a tendency to kind of nag on for a couple months. So every time I wrestle, I'm going to be having a brace on for the foreseeable future to help mitigate re-injuring this ankle.
You might have to pass on your recuperative abilities to our quarterback, Kyler Murray, because he's got high ankle sprains, and he's been out for 2 weeks. So, yeah, us Arizona guys are having bad ankles right now, I guess. All right, let's see here. So at Battle Riot, I wanted to talk about that because that was such an epic win for you to win the Battle Royal at the Battle Riot. And I wanted to talk about the attire you wore, because as a guy that, I'll be honest, I'm 40. I grew up in the 80s. I grew up a Hulkamaniac. I was the biggest Hulkamaniac. I still am. I will not lie. There was obviously maybe a little bit influence from the Hulkster in what you chose to wear that night?
Yes, I mean, for sure. Like, I've always, I like to kind of borrow and repackage always some of the subtle influences from some of my favorite guys from wrestling's past, and also guys that kind of mirror my likeness, whether it's Hogan or Warrior or Luger, like these guys, who are just larger than life, big jacked up guys who just brought that energy and that charisma with them. And so I like to borrow and throw a nod here or there, and just like you said, something for guys like you who have that little bit of nostalgia factor thrown into the match. It's never a bad thing.
Absolutely. And we got to go through this real quick here, but the pandemic, as a independent wrestler or MLW wrestler, when MLW had their break due to the pandemic, how hard was it to survive this pandemic, and how happy are you that, for the most part, we seem to have it in the rearview mirror now?
So, it was difficult more than anything, just from the mental aspect. Obviously, you're trying to make sure you're making ends meet as far as, paying the bills and having some kind of income and things of that nature. But yeah, just to be kind of like taken away from your element, taken away from like what you've worked your whole life to be able to do. And especially for me, because I was really just hitting my stride where, I was on the road every weekend. I was getting to be, a featured main event guy all over the world. And then I get stuck in my living room, playing video games, wishing I was out there. So, it was definitely difficult, but, it made me appreciate wrestling that much more, because as much as we love this, it gets to be a job sometimes. And sometimes we start to dread it, and we curse it, and we wish we were doing something else. But that period of time really reminded me how much I do love it and how much I would miss it if it was gone. And, it did provide a little bit of a break to heal up some injuries and things of that nature. So I can't say it was all bad when it's all said and done.
All right. Tonight we have a big match. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But you were talking about the pandemic just a second ago, and a company that did not survive the pandemic was, it doesn't seem anyway, at least they're taking a hiatus, is Ring of Honor. MLW seems to have weathered the storm, though. What do you think of the state of professional wrestling in the post-pandemic world, and what is MLW's place in that world right now?
It's so hard to even say. The thing I've said to everybody for the last few years, even before the pandemic, was that wrestling is changing so fast that you have to be, you're just a boat on the water. You just adjust your sails as best you can because the wind is taking you where it's going to take you. So yeah, with things changing so fast, and MLW, like you said, we made it through to the other end. It does open up the opportunity for us to, climb further up that ladder. I think we have the roster to do it. I think we have the minds behind the scenes to do it. And I know all the guys are hungry and want to make it happen. So we'll see. It's definitely going to be an interesting couple of months moving forward.
Absolutely. I really loved, I don't know why, but this quote stuck out for me from the Court Bauer media call before Fightland aired. He was talking about being a regular guy trying to compete against two billionaires. And I thought that really spoke to how hard it is, because MLW really is making waves, and they're, not spending the same amount of money that a company like WWE or AEW is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's just a testament to, Court's ability to find kind of these undiscovered talented guys who, are really hungry to do something.
Absolutely right. All right. So one of the cool things you got going on in MLW right now that I'm enjoying is the Aztec Underground, and seeing guys don characters that maybe seem a little familiar to us wrestling fans. I loved Lucha Underground. I don't care, even if my purist friends hate me for saying so. I loved Lucha Underground, and you guys with having Matanza appear tonight. If I hope I'm not spoiling too much, that's a really big deal. So what do you think about involving characters that were synonymous with the Lucha Underground brand into the MLW brand?
You kind of already, hit on it, is that there's still people like you who, were very fond of what Lucha Underground was doing, and it was something new and exciting. and I think it got kind of cut short from the lifespan that maybe it should have had or potentially could have had. So now to get to incorporate some of those elements and some of those characters and some of those, just general vibes and kind of storylines into our show is making for a very interesting mix-up.
I agree. And tonight's the most dangerous match in wrestling. Well, the War Chamber, MLW really brought this match into the 21st century in its first incarnation. What can we expect when you guys bring us War Chamber tonight?
Well, I mean, you got just the sheer amount of humanity in this ring. You got it's pretty much all these giant heavyweight dudes, so there's going to be thousands of pounds of man in this ring. And then you start to factor in the fact that it's in a cage, that there's weapons allowed. It's going to be a match to watch.
I can't wait to see it. Well, I got to tell you, man, during the pandemic, you posted a video of you playing guitar to the Power Rangers theme, and I thought to myself, this guy is so cool, I should just jealously hate him. But no, I didn't feel that way. I just was so happy to see you. Like I said, and as an Arizona guy, I love seeing you succeed in MLW, and man, you deserve it. I said it to you on Facebook. I'll say it here. You definitely deserve this opportunity, this chance to be at the forefront of MLW. And I want to thank you for taking the time and doing this with me.
Yes, sir. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Before I let you go, actually, you know what? We did this once on Skype before, so I already have a liner from you. I don't need to bug you for another one of those today.
All right.
All right, Sean. Well, I hope that gave you guys a few moments break before the next one, and I thank you guys for doing this with me.
Now we shamelessly name drop from our history.
The Wrestling Epicenter would like to apologize for the following.
All right, everybody. Viva la raza. Viva la raza.
Hey, y'all.
Hammerstone. Hello, ladies.
Hey guys, we had a lovely conversation.
First lady.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at me.
She's so kooky.
Be there.
Where else?
Interactive
Wrestling
radio.
Wrestling.
Epicenter.
Oh my God, you win.
I love being interactive.
Whoa. I was not shooting. Yeah. I almost missed my pants. Breaking neck. I got 2 words for you. I've heard a lot about you guys. Let's go. Excuse my language. Getting over the shot. Plenty of no. Into the many.
No nerves.
That was great. It's going to be cool. Woo. What it's all about. The purest point of view. The living legend. Champion. Arrogant.
You're listening to me.
Instead of statement, I'm talking to you.
Charisma. Leave us out.
Yeah.
In the land of extreme.
Testify. Nevermore. Interactive interview. I'm not just the best. Interactive interview with a plastic
You
head.
earned the right.
Nobody. You better keep listening. Thank you very much. Controversy creates cash. Professional
Made
wrestling.
in the USA, baby.
Memphis wrestling. The guy on fire.
We were sexy.
What a show.
The one and only.
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Wrestling
Epicenter.
Interactive interview. We took care of the business. This isn't ballet. We are huge with this whole. You're where it's at. You better recognize who's the best. Make sure to tune in each and every week. I'll come out of your computer. Knock down your door and turn it on for you. Or else I'm going to kick your stinking teeth in. And that's the bottom line.
Have a nice day.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.